Germany, France, and the UK have wrapped up a day of talks with Iran as they hope to reach a deal on Tehran's nuclear program. The meeting between diplomats took place in Geneva and ended only with the announcement that the parties would meet again. Europe's biggest economies are hoping to stop Iran from pursuing nuclear weapons and following through on reported plans to build thousands of new centrifuges to enrich uranium. Iran, for its part, wants relief from Western sanctions. The renewed efforts to reach a deal are coming at a time of extreme tensions in the Middle East and just over 50 days before U.S. President-elect Donald Trump returns to the White House. Cornelius Adebahr is a security analyst focusing on Iran at the German Council on Foreign Relations. Welcome to DW, Cornelius. What do we know about the state of Iran's nuclear program at this point in time?
Well, we know that Iran has ramped up its nuclear program over the past years, ever since the United States withdrew from what we call the nuclear deal, the JCPOA in short. It has increased the production of enriched uranium. It has also increased the level of enrichment way beyond the figures that were agreed initially in 2015. It has done so in response, as they said, to the United States imposing sanctions under President Trump and then keeping these sanctions under President Biden. And it has, at least notionally, also signaled a willingness to rejoin negotiations about the nuclear deal and about the limitations if sanctions are lifted again.
Mm-hmm. So all of that in mind, what is it those three countries, Germany, France, and Britain, are trying to achieve in these talks?
Well, one could call it talks about talks. Everyone is aware that the new U.S. administration is coming in. President Trump, as I just said, during his first term, left the deal. He didn't negotiate a better one, as he initially said, but he imposed a policy of what is called maximum pressure. And we may witness the return of this policy, imposing harsh sanctions, trying to get Iran to its knees, as it were. But the Europeans feel that there is no time to lose. The result of the US leaving in 2018 has led to Iran doing more nuclear work, becoming closer to what is called the nuclear threshold. So they want to explore what are the possibilities, what is the willingness in Tehran, what are concessions that each side could make, what is maybe a timeline that one could start talks with the new president, the next US president in office. How could one achieve anything within, say, 6 months until the summer?
In your opinion, does it make sense to start these negotiations or talks about talks without Donald Trump in the White House before he returns to the presidency?
Well, not only does it make sense, it is a necessity, I would say, because once Trump is in office, he may feel pressured one way or another. There are voices that tell him to go in hard. There are others that would say, given what has happened over the past years, not just the most recent war with involving Israel and Iran, tit-for-tat strikes, but also strikes back in 2019, 2020, when the Arab neighbors of Iran felt the heat of this kind of conflagration, and they said, we need to live with Iran. There is no sense also for us as Iran's neighbors to get into a violent conflict. So people will lean into Donald Trump, and being there ready maybe with a plan or with the contours of a plan is certainly an advantage for the Europeans.
Is Iran a reliable negotiating partner, though?
From a perspective of the Europeans, it's hard to answer with an affirmative yes. There is frustration, there is disappointment. Probably Iran would say the same of the Europeans and definitely of the United States, leaving the deal when it was working, at least superficially. So both sides would have to overcome these recriminations. They would have to overcome what is the past. But it's not an issue of trust. It is an issue of making a new deal that is verifiable, that is enforceable, and where both sides can say they can live with it, and it provides more security on balance to both sides. It's not a deal will not be one where one side loses. This is not the kind of negotiation that they would enter into.
Yeah. If no such agreement is reached, how likely is it that Iran will soon be in possession of a nuclear bomb?
It's a very fundamental question you're asking there, and there is no definite answer also to this one. Officially, Iran is not pursuing a nuclear weapon. It has maintained that its nuclear program is for civilian purposes only, for the one civilian nuclear energy reactor that they have. This is nothing that the world would put trust in. At the same time, going for a nuclear weapon, for a nuclear bomb, which is called a breakout, entails inherent risks also for Iran. It would probably face an immediate attack from, say, Israel or the United States together. It would unsettle the neighborhood even more. Saudi Arabia has said it would want a nuclear weapon in that case. Egypt, Turkey, all these neighbor states might go the same route. So it doesn't make Iran much safer, especially because there is a time lag on the way to actually getting to that bomb. So it would be a risky calculation, which is one more reason for the Europeans, together with the Americans, when they have a new administration, to embark on this diplomatic path.
Fascinating insights. That was Cornelius Adebahr with the German Council on Foreign Relations. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.